Okay, we're good. Aloha, everyone. We are live and inspired today. Woo! You want to know why? Because it is another round of Gentlemen with Cocktails. I am here with my brother in arms, Chris Schwarzlander, the author of the series Tripping Over Reality. Chris, how are you doing, kind
What's
sir?
going on?
Nothing much, brother. How are you doing?
Another beautiful day, sir.
Hell yeah,
Up here
man.
on Roan Mountain where the sun shines free and the cable sucks.
Don't you know it, man? Unfortunately, our other co-host could not be here. Jimmy, he has some pertinent family business to attend to, so we wish Jimmy all the best while we strive on. But we may have a special guest coming in later on, so hopefully, if she can't make it, don't worry, we shall entertain you good people. But if she shows up, more the merrier. All right, so what
So what's
would
going on, man? What'd you
you
do
know?
this week?
Yeah, this week was pretty awesome. I am getting ready to go on a little trip to Florida, so I've been kind of chillaxing, kind of getting ready for that. Jazz, I'll be gone pretty much the week of that next week. So, but other than that, I
Excellent.
mean,
Bring me a
yeah.
baby.
What's up?
Bring me a baby alligator.
Bring me a baby alligator. Hey, it's pretty funny, man, that you say that because you can actually take pictures with baby alligators. Like there's a place called Gatorland that you can actually take
Yeah.
pictures with baby alligators and stuff. And then also too, they had this this what was it? Congo River on one of the main drags. It's 436 is a state road, but there's Congo River out there, and also too on International Drive where the convention center is off of. Like there's one out that way, and then one off 436, which is in Altamont. But you can actually take a picture of a baby alligator. I think it's like $15, but they probably charge you. Like I took a date there one time, and we took a picture of a baby alligator. It was pretty cool. I don't know if I can smuggle you back one, but I could try to take a picture of one for you. Fax it to you.
There you go.
But how have you been, man?
Good, man. I'm recovering slowly, day by day. Good days, bad days. But I should be off this walker in a month, and back to swing dancing and.
Oh yeah, doing a jig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good though. Every day's a challenge, but I'm Army strong.
Fuck yeah.
So.
Yes, we are. Army strong. Be all that you can be. Army of one.
Army of.
Go home, go hard. I don't know. Or go hard, go home. I can't remember all that jazz. I mean, it's funny because like the Marines been slinging the same shit for so long. The few, the proud, the Marines, and like we keep on having to fucking seduce people with other fucked up shit. It's crazy. It's like, well, that didn't win them over. Let's go with Army strong.
The most honest Army commercial, especially for the infantry, was that one guy. I don't know if you remember it, and it may have been the Army of One promotion, but it might have been before that.
Was it Pauly Shore in the Army now?
No.
Throw the grenade, pull the pin, and he drops the grenade and throws the pin.
there's a guy sitting with his canteen cup in the rain, and it's freezing, and he's shivering, and that's the infantry for you right there.
Pretty much, yeah. Fucking
rain.
Yeah, pretty much. If it doesn't, it's not raining until like the first first drop reaches the crack of your ass. I mean, that's when you're wet.
It's really raining. Every field problem it rained. We went to 29 Palms, which is a fucking desert.
And
it rained on us the first day we were there. We were like, how the hell?
Shit, man. Yeah. 29 Palms. That's pretty good.
Yeah. 29 Palms, California.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful place. Not.
Yeah. Oh man, not fucking like, cause I was in Barstow, man, Fort Irwin, and fucking that place is like fucking so desolate. And it's funny, man, because like it's like they put the fucking posts And like the shittiest, like, or for civilians, sorry people, we're talking infantry stuff here, or military. Basically, it's your garrison unit that you go to, your base of operations, and when you're not deployed and stuff like that. So what we're talking about is that, okay, so basically they put like, you have like Fort Stewart, Fort Campbell, Fort Bragg, Fort Drum, all these, Fort Irwin. You have all these places, and they put them in like the most shittiest neighborhoods, right? So like if you go outside of posts, you go in the most like fucking decrepit and like desolate places on the fucking planet. I mean, it's really it's where the fucking
these neighborhoods develop outside of the posts.
Yeah,
they don't put the post in the neighborhood.
No,
businesses and strip clubs and the cheapest types of restaurants and the
tattoo parlors and all that shit, man.
And they're right off post, and they're just there to capture, G.I. Joe and his money.
Yeah, exactly.
Rent centers, charging 300%, for
TV, Dude, that's like fucking when I was man, like one of my first duty stations. Like a fucking car, like if you wanted to get a car, like I remember some dude got like just like a little beater for like 18%, like he had his what was it, his interest was 18% on like some piece of shit. Yeah, it's fucking insane. But they know that you have money, and motherfuckers like 18, 19 doesn't know what fucking dick from his elbow, so it's just kind of like, I guess that's a good deal. It's like, fucking A, man, you're gonna take forever to pay that shit off.
We were forever getting, and I think it was once a week, we'd get a report of the places that were off limits to the guys on post. The guy, places have been taking advantage of soldiers and stuff like that. So, a lot of those businesses, they suffered when they did stuff like that, and then the post commanders found out about it. They put word out that we weren't to go in them.
Really? So, man, that's like shit, man. That's like one of the places. See, a lot of guys would get a lot of their gear, like if they want like high speed stuff, like if they want like a gangster grip, fucking like a gangster grip attachment for their like M4 or some shit, or if they wanted like a sports grip for their weapon,
speed release stuff, or
I mean, and they would charge out, and like they would go to these, basically high speed places, and they would charge like an arm and leg, because they know that, Joe Snuffy, would fucking want that, to be like, oh shit, but if you go to like what we got like a really, because like it would take forever for like our supply guy to fucking to get us anything, and also too, like he would always give like the CO and the XO and all these other motherfuckers like the high speed shit first, which they don't even fucking use. They don't need it, which is so fucking it's like that didn't make any damn sense. It was so asinine. But we would go to this place called standardissue.com, which I think only thing we had to do was just basically fax them our military ID, and then fucking we would get shit at like cost. And we even like awesome. I ordered fucking because now they don't I don't think they allow them anymore, but I had like fucking the desert Oakleys and shit, like the tan Oakleys in fucking Iraq and in the Middle East and shit, and like all of our Oakleys that what's up?
Everything that we got, we had to get either from the PX or some off post store, because I was pre-internet when I was in, or just the beginnings of America Online.
Shit! I thought they had to send it by fucking Raven or some shit, because weren't you like close to the Civil War, man?
Pterodactyl.
Yeah,
and then they send the pterodactyl out.
It's like back in my day when we were taking out the Neanderthals. You know what I'm saying? When the Kree were experimenting on the Inhumans, it's like us who had the X gene, that the Celestials put in.
Yeah, I got dunked into that. Was that the Terrigen Mist?
Yeah, Terrigen Mist. Yeah, the fucking. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, is that the difference between like the Kree, like the was it like the Inhumans and the like the royal family Inhumans, like they were actually Neanderthals who were experimented on by the Kree, and then so they're not even like Homo sapiens, but the Celestials, like the gods, the big
Yeah.
god people, like they actually
Yeah.
put an X gene into like Homo sapiens, and I think
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
30,000 or 15,000 years. It's supposed to
Yeah.
ignite. You know, it's supposed to become active or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how that.
Kirby was absolutely buying into the whole Eric von Däniken Chariots of the Gods thing. You know, where aliens had come to Earth and changed human history.
Is that what Chariot of the Gods is? Because man, I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I hear people talk about it. I'm just like, well, fuck, man.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty interesting. I mean, you know,
is it a book? Is it a movie?
Oh, yeah, it's a book, and I think they
Okay.
did like a documentary on it at one time in the 70s, which is really
okay,
but pretty interesting. I found it interesting. You know, I don't know if I believed any of it, but it was still something interesting to watch and check out. You know,
is that like how they kind of like explain the pyramids too and shit? Is that where that kind of stems off from? Or like they talk about like aliens, because no man can make that the pyramid shape like that or something.
Yeah. You may be able to check it out on YouTube. It's probably available for free.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Like everything else is now, you know?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I mean all the 60s Marvel cartoons are on YouTube now.
Well, see, like, even like, I don't know if you remember like the oh shit. Remember the old X-Men game back in the 90s?
Which one?
Like the arcade. Like where it was like X-Men, you know, it had like it was like you could either play Cyclops, Wolverine, Dazzler, Storm, Nightcrawler. It was like the old. I mean, this was like shit. I want to say like late 80s, early 90s. It had the
It's old. I was.
Okay. Well, it's not like 8-bit and shit, you know, or a ColecoVision. But it's like, or Pac-Man.
It was out for the general.
Yeah. I think it kind of like they took that one and kind of stemmed off of it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I have it on. What is the 360? Because they used to have it at the Microsoft Arcade, and I downloaded it. For like $2. Yeah, I don't know if it's up there anymore, but yeah, I have it on my 360.
That's absolutely worth $2.
Yeah, and the thing is that one of the beginning of it is actually the pilot for the original X-Men cartoon, and it was called Pride of the X-Men, and like pride, because like pride as in like Kitty Pride, like PRY. Wolverine was Australian. Yeah. He had an Australian accent. Yeah, and you can actually see the whole damn episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
That pilot.
I remember when that pilot came out, I was really excited, you know, to see the X-Men. You know.
Really?
Like, wait a minute, Wolverine's not Australian.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's fucking weird, man. And then I guess they scrapped that, and then they went with what was it, 92 when they came out. Yeah. Yeah, when they and then like I used to love, man, the Spider-Man, the 94 Spider-Man.
That was good.
Yeah,
that was really good. I enjoyed it.
Like Spider-Man, radioactive Spider-Man, and
that was good stuff.
Yeah, it's like one of the, because that's like because they had like Eddie Brock Venom in it. They had Carnage as well. They had Spider Carnage, and they had Madam Web in it too. They were pulling from
some really good comic stories at that time. So
yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, I don't remember, because they didn't do the Clone Saga, thank Christ. But they did do like an alternate. They kind of did. They basically, what they did was they did Spider-Verse before fucking Spider-Verse, you know, was a thing. you know, which was great because you have all these different Peter Parkers like coming in.
3 shows, and we brought up Clone Saga 3 times.
Oh my god, I know, it's so bad, man. That's bad, bro. I know. That's my fault, man. That's my fault. I'll take blame. I'll take the heat for that.
Couldn't get away from it. You just can't get away from that.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. It's like Clone Saga. You gotta love it, man. Oh, dude, I was in the comic shop. This is cool too. Since let's just go down this rabbit hole. Fuck it.
All right, let's.
I was in the comic shop, and like I saw they had the Clone Saga in Dwayne's World, and it was like condensed into like 12 issues. I think it was like for $30 for some shit, you know. And it wasn't compendium. It was just fucking like they took however fucking many. I mean, they took like basically the important parts and basically kind of condensed it into this graphic novel. And I was like, I was very tempted to get it because I actually went in there to
don't do it.
I know. Let me tell you, man. I was like looking at it because I didn't flip through or anything, but I was kind of looking at the back, and I'm like, yep, I had that issue, those issues. I have fucking Revelations, where we find out I have all 4 parts of Revelations, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, oh god,
it's like that girl that broke your heart.
Yeah, I know, and then you know, it's like
if you're thinking about doing it, don't do it.
I know. It's like, you know, she's single. She may have like 2 kids now, but hey, you know, she's like, what's that? She sees you on Facebook, looking all like, you know,
a new friend,
and it's like, you know, it's like, what's up? It's like, I know if either way, if I respond, she's going to have her hooks in me, because even if I say, yeah, I don't want to talk with you, that's giving an invitation.
Yeah, you don't.
Either you're like, I'm good. What's up?
Think about it. Was it $30?
I think it was, man. It was, yeah. It was probably.
Why did you pay $30 to get the shit kicked out of you again?
Oh my god, yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, because I originally went in there. I went in there to see, because the last time I was in Dwayne's World, he had Maximum Carnage. Now I have most of the books. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, man, and I love the art. And like I was looking through my comics, and I have most of them. I think I'm missing a couple. Like I have the first one and the last one, and I'm just kind of like missing some in between ones. And but I remember reading it and stuff, and the story. But and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I was just gonna be like, you know what? Let me just see if I can. Now that one was $30 because I went in, I think like last month or like 2 weeks ago.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, the art, Mark Bagley's work is great. Like that's when he was at his fucking creme de la creme, you know, his fucking premiere shit back in the like that was like 94, you know, the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Like when that came out, like 94, 96. I mean, that's when, like, I think
that was when comics started coming out of that dark age that they had entered.
Yeah, yeah, that was after Image. Yeah, after Image fucking busted.
A 4-year span there of crappy comics that came out, you know, that were just horrible.
Yeah, well, see, man, that's like, I know a lot of people give praise to what is it, Supreme, like, and the Alan Moore Supreme when whatchamacallit did Awesome Comics, Rob Liefeld. Now I didn't read Supreme when fucking when it first came out for Image. I didn't either. Because to me it was just a knockoff of Superman. It's like, it's just this older dude with white hair. It's just kind of, and that's,
let's face it, most of Image's early books were knockoffs of the heroes that they were doing for Marvel. I mean, look at Dale Leone. The Pit was the Hulk. I mean,
yeah.
You know.
Well, what the hell was the Max then?
Spawn, look how closely Spawn looks to Spider-Man, just visually.
Oh yeah, hey, Todd McFarlane's gone on record saying that shit. He's like, listen, look, the reason why I called him Spawn is because I want it to be before Spider-Man, and like the first fucking cover is like is Spider-Man #1. You know, like the crouching down of Spawn and everything. I mean, that's just you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I'm saying it was all horrible, but it wasn't great by any means, and they were late all the time. All the time. Remember the Deathmate crossover?
Wasn't yeah, okay, yeah, I was about to say that's fucking Valiant. Yeah, where they had like silver, yellow,
like
red, fucking blue. Yeah. I mean, instead of doing like issue 1 of 5, they were doing it by fucking color. It's like, well, that's fucking retarded. Yeah. How am I supposed to keep up with it? I mean, I just think it's a variant cover. You know?
You had 2 bookends too. There were 2 bookends that were smaller books, and I can't recall. I've got them upstairs, but I can't recall them right now. And then you had yellow, blue, black, and red.
Oh, they had a.
And the nice thing about them was there was no continuity to them. Pretty much each of those books stood on its own.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
Yeah, you really didn't need to have one to have the other, or to be able to follow the story. But nonetheless, it took forever for Image to get their end of it out. I think it was like 3 years before the last one came out.
So Deathmate, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Deathmate was a crossover with Image, correct?
It was a crossover with Image and Valiant.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah. Valiant, I mean, dude, I vaguely remember it because I have to fucking prioritize fucking Marvel, you know, and even when I was a kid, man. Yeah. Like, well, I was a teenager back then, but even then, it's like I kind of, you know, I was trying to figure out what the hell is the difference between DC and fucking Marvel, because like for the longest, I thought fucking Superman and fucking Spider-Man were on the same fucking team. They're heroes, right? What the fuck, you know? I mean, that's like
that was the time when I was kind of veering away from Marvel,
because
I'd read Marvel my entire childhood.
Oh, really?
You know, with a mix of DC books, and then I started. And because I was so familiar with them, I wanted to start looking at some new stuff, and that's when I started picking up a lot of DC books. But I love both companies, regardless. You know,
well,
the old writing anyway.
Let me ask you a question. When you were still like a big Marvel guy, did you pick up like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns and the Watchmen comics, like when they first came out? Oh, really?
Yeah. And I had picked and. Shoot, I was reading Daredevil when Frank Miller started his run on Daredevil.
Oh, that's such fucking good. Yeah. Dude, his artistry on that was fucking top notch, man. Yeah. Like if you go back and look, I'm like, damn, that's Frank Miller, yo. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 84, man. Because that was 2 years prior to him doing Dark Knight Returns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was good stuff, man. I mean, that was all through my high school years. I graduated in 86.
No shit.
So, you know.
Fuck yeah.
So I was reading that stuff in my high school years and just loving it. You know, I couldn't wait, you know, for the next month to get the next couple of comics that I was getting.
One of my favorite covers. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was reading the X-Men and the Avengers at that time too, and the New Mutants, and I love those books. Because
that was during the John Byrne, Chris Claremont saga, right? Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I remember that. Because that's like one of those things like where the book gallery where we would get our stuff from.
That was actually prior to the 80s. I think the Dark Phoenix was before that, wasn't it? Late 70s when that happened? Early 80s?
Yeah, okay, yeah, early 80s.
Early 80s, like 81, something like I can't remember.
Shit, yeah. Yeah.
I'm brain damaged, man.
Oh no, you're good, man. Like, see, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I remember collecting them or like having, dude. I mean, I remember collecting the Punisher. I want to say it was like late '80s, early '90s when the Punisher, when he had like a contract out on him by, I want to say either Jigsaw or the fucking what's the name, Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, and where he teams up with like Cage. He actually goes under the knife and has like cosmetic surgery where he looks like an African American dude. And I don't know if you remember that series. It's called Requiem. It was like a 5-part.
I don't remember that.
Dude, it's like so good. Nowadays, if people tried to do that, they would be calling, what the fuck was that movie? Remember the movie with C. Thomas Howell where he pretends to be like a minority dude? What's it?
Soul Man.
Soul Man, yeah. Imagine someone doing that shit today. You know how racist they would say that shit is? Because he was trying to go to college on a minority scholarship. That's what it was. That is so fucking wrong.
An awful film.
That was it. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I'm just like, that looks fucking terrible.
I think that kind of sign that drove the hammer into his career, or the nail into his career's coffin.
Did you?
Because he'd done The Outsiders, and then he did The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer, which was a phenomenal film.
The Hitcher? What the hell is The Hitcher?
Man. Oh, dude.
The Hitcher?
You got to see that movie. If you haven't seen The Hitcher.
No. Dude, I know him from like there was a one volleyball movie they used to play. It was on HBO when I was like fucking like a wee little lad. It was called like Side Out or some shit. It was he was a volleyball guy. He was like from like Wisconsin or some shit, and he moved to like California to live with his uncle or something. But yeah, The Hitcher. Sorry.
Hitcher. C. Thomas Howell plays a guy who was he wanted to move to California, and the only way that he could get there, and it's been a while since I have seen this, so forgive me if I
get good, brother.
Wrong. But he was doing this deal where he would drive a car across the country to take that car from where he was to California and drop it off, then he could live there. But on his way, he picked up a hitchhiker who was Rutger Hauer, and that hitchhiker was a serial killer. And it is a phenomenal joyride. I mean, it is just one scary movie. It scared the hell out of me when I was younger. But it's worth watching, man. Check it out. They did a remake of it recently, which is, of course, not near as good. But check out the original. You'll like it. You'll like it.
Okay, sweet, man.
It's Rutger Hauer, man. I mean,
yeah, hey, man. Do you remember the movie Blind Fury with him?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, I love that shit, man. I love that movie. What's that?
Or Stick. He was basically Stick.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
He was basically Stick from Daredevil, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, the premise is so fucking stupid. I did like the beginning, though, like where he was like, what was it, a Vietnam veteran, and he loses his sight from like a landmine, and they teach him like the Vietnamese style of a sword. I can't remember what it's called, but sword fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was badass, man.
But his best role was Blade Runner, man.
Fuck yeah, man. Roy Batty. Oh, now you're speaking my language, man. Oh, so good.
He was a badass in there.
Yeah, dude, I love the moments will fade like tears in rain. That was all improv, man. I love that.
Yeah.
He did that right on the fly, man. Talking about the what was it? The moons of Saturn or spaceship from Saturn.
Some weird soliloquy.
Yeah, it was.
Time to die, and then it was over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then see, that's why I love like the final cut, man. The final, because when you see like the dove come out of his hands, it's actually all dark and gloomy still. It's not fucking sunshine and rainbows and clear sky. And yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's like,
that was really.
The light shines upon you, blessings from dear Lord. It's like no. It's fucking.
Did you like the remake? What was it?
2014, 2049. Dude, it's fucking great, man. If you have not seen that,
but it was so slow, but it looked great.
What are you talking about? Well, that's what Blade Runner. Shit, man. Blade Runner is one of those damn movies that it's like you got to invest into that shit. You got to.
Oh,
like,
you really?
You can't like fucking.
I'm not a big Ryan Gosling fan.
Uh-huh.
So I had a hard time watching it because I really, I'm sure he's a great guy. I just don't like his acting.
Really?
So I had a hard time watching it. But I enjoyed the film. I mean, and the storyline was great. It was good seeing Harrison Ford, as Decker again.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I like too. I like that they left it ambiguous where they don't really answer the question whether or not he was a replicant or whether he was human. I believe he's human, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's human.
And I think when Wallace, Neander Wallace, what's his fucking name? Fuck, the guy who played the Joker. Fuck. Suicide Squad. Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Remember when Jared Leto was talking about like, why do you think Tyrell set it up between you and her? Because you're supposed to be attracted to her because you're supposed to be a fucking replicant, you know, probably like a Nexus 7 or a 6 or some shit, you know, like a 6 Bravo. I don't know, but you know, the way I think he was just trying to fuck with his mind, you know, trying to basically, you know, basically it's like self-doubt, right? It's like he doesn't really fucking know, but he's basically playing on your instinct. And then for a fucking just even another bargaining chip, he brings out like a clone of Rachel. But I love what he says, that basically, you know, her eyes were green, you know, and then Love just fucking blows a cap in her ass or her fucking head. Yeah. It's fucking great, man. I love that shit.
Yeah, it was good, and it looked amazing.
Yeah. Oh, man,
and
that's
what I like about the original Blade Runner is that it still holds up visually.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a great feast for the eyes, I think.
Well, that's like Ridley Scott, man. The reason why he made it all dark and gloomy and shit, because he was balling on a budget, basically. He was like, listen, look, man, I mean, I could have a lot of fucking lighting even if I wanted to, because the budget restraints. Yeah. I mean, but that's what made it so, like, trying to imitate that again, right? To redo it. Like, if that's why I'm so happy that they didn't do like a remake, that they just said, okay, listen, look, this is set 30 years later because it was originally 2019, and now it's in the future. Yes, this is like a proper sequel, but we're saying that time has elapsed and stuff like that. And I love like the seawall, like where basically fucking LA, it's snowing right at the very end.
Yeah,
you have this big seawall because, you know, the polar ice caps, because of global warming and all that shit. People are going off colony, like to live in, like, basically, I mean, when I first saw it, the only thing that was going through my mind was like Ruby Drive, Floss in Paradise, you know, like that type shit. Like, you know, like when they were talking about off colony and shit, I mean, that's what I was kind of picturing in my mind.
Yeah,
like fucking Fifth Element shit. I was like, holy fuck, you know. Yeah,
I loved that the first movie was so dark because it really lent itself to that whole sci-fi film noir feeling.
Yeah.
Which I just don't think can be replicated.
Yeah, and that's, no, I mean, it's like when people talk about lightning in a bottle, right? It's like, can it happen twice? Yeah, it can, but you can't manufacture it, right? You just have to let it happen organically. Yeah, you cannot. That's like with the fucking Marvel movies, man. That's like, you know, why, you know, it's like they're trying to, like, okay, for instance, okay, Marvel Studios, right? If we're gonna, you know, get back in the comic books a little bit, you know, but I love Blade Runner, so we can go on that shit too. But just trying to, you know, fucking parallel the two. You know, the thing with everybody's been trying to fucking like, you had what was it, the Mummy with the Dark Universe, right? Universal's monster.
Yeah.
You have fucking DC with their DCEU, which they're not calling it DCEU because they're saying that some publicist, you know, who is an outside source, called it DCEU. Motherfucker, I'm just going to call it DCEU. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like, you're trying to replicate that tone, and it's like, or they're like, hey, listen, look, I will give them credit, you know, and I'll applaud them for not going with like the same fucking golden stamp of approval where they went, okay, since they're doing light, we're going to go dark. I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
What they did with Henry Cavill Superman, because Superman should be the light in the darkness. He shouldn't fucking be dark. It should never be that way. And then him kind of like the whole thing, like, I love that Kevin Costner played his father, but Clark kind of rejecting him, saying that he's not his father. That's fucking bullshit. He would never do that. You know, I mean, that's what, like, even that's why I still love to this day. I don't give a fuck. Dick Donner Superman is like, that's my Superman. You know, I mean, that's the one I grew up with, you know, and even Jeff Johns still holds the torch of that shit, even in the comic books now.
Like Superman, you know,
what's that?
Christopher Reeve was Superman. I mean,
yeah, and he really was.
Dude, what, 6 foot, what, 2, 6'3"?
Yeah, I think he's about that. Yeah, he was fucking tall, dude.
The black hair, the eyes that Superman always had. He looked like Superman.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, that's like when he came, him and Robin Williams actually were in Juilliard together. That was his first thing that he did, Christopher Reeve, when he came out of Juilliard. That was
oh, really?
Yeah, that was his first big thing. I mean, you know, he auditioned for Superman, got the role. Like, actually, like Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams, you know, God rest his soul. Well, both of them, shit. I keep on thinking, is Christopher Reeve's still alive, man? That's fucking, you know, because like, you know, because I always see him as Superman, but
Yeah.
but
I was sad when Snack and then he ultimately died from it.
yeah, man,
that
man, yeah,
that was definitely a light that left the world, I think.
yeah. Well, hell, man, that's like in Kingdom Come, man. I mean, it's like even that Superman to me kind of looks very. I mean, I know it's not. You can see shades of Christopher Reeve, you know, in Alex Ross's in his artistry when he does like Superman. So and I'm like, and that's like Christopher Reeve will always be my Superman. I mean, I don't care about Brandon Routh, you know, or Henry Cavill. I mean, I like what Henry Cavill does. Like, I do see him as Superman, but it's just one of those things where
I enjoyed Man of Steel for what it was.
Yeah.
It was a little too dark. I don't understand people's problems with him killing Zod.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Where, you know, he knows heroes shouldn't kill, and he never would unless innocents were in danger, and they were in danger.
Yeah,
he had to put an end to the danger, and you know, that anguished scream he gave when he broke Zod's neck said it all.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
He
I mean,
himself for having to do it, you know. So
yeah, because I mean, it was good. Yeah, because he sees it, because it's basically he's killing one of his own. You know, I mean, it's like, does he pick his you know, his old species, or does he go with the new people who he's adopted? You know, and
well, and the fact that those were innocent women and children.
Yeah, it was a family. Yeah,
he fishing to, and they were gonna die.
Yeah.
Had he not stopped them, they would have died. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing that people don't understand is that, yeah, I mean, what's his name? Zod was bred for war. That's like he has like that strategic mindset. He's kind of like a Patton, a fucking, you know, like a George Washington type, you know, or Andrew Jackson. You know, I mean, he would just keep on fucking going. He didn't care, you know, until the job.
It's a Green Beret is what it was.
Yeah, pretty fucking much. Yeah, I mean, you know, like old fucking John Wayne, the Green Berets and shit.
That's right.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, he wasn't gonna fucking
fighting soldiers from the sky. Good stuff. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so good, man. It is so, yeah. It's a good one, man.
Yeah,
I love John Wayne.
I wasn't really happy with the fact. I mean, I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't like Ben Affleck as Batman branding people. Batman wouldn't brand people. I mean, it's just not something that he would do. It's not in his character. I don't care how mad he got or pushed over the edge. He doesn't mutilate common criminals. It was just kind of a ridiculous step to take.
Really? You didn't like that? See, I thought...
No.
See, I thought it was...
It didn't get done. Even the Dark Knight
Well, see, that's like me. Like, a lot of people had problem with him, like in Batman v Superman, like killing people, and it's just kind of like, okay, like, you gotta understand, like, this guy's been doing this shit forever. And also too, it's like, especially like in Justice League, where it's like, okay, there's a worst, because, and Scott Snyder has kind of gone on record saying that no, it wasn't a dream that he actually had. He actually had like a vision of the future that and it was kind of like a daydream almost, like, but he wasn't dreaming. I mean, you see him kind of like, you know, get shocked awake, but he wasn't dreaming. He just had like this because the Flash went back in time. It was fucking with the kind of it's fucking with the time-space continuum. Yeah.
Well,
and so
you had the Flash going, you know, watch out, be careful.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing like too. Yes, exactly. And so like me, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, this motherfucker gets this vision. It's kind of like, okay, he has to up his game. So it's like, you just can't, like, if Darkseid's coming, then you just can't be like, okay, Mr. Darkseid, we're going to use non-lethal rounds on you. Fuck that. I mean, you know, you bring out the damn arsenal.
I get Batman using lethal force on parademons and Darkseid. He does that in comics, but brand villains. I mean, that's just not who he is. I mean, that's just a ridiculous. I mean, to even think of him doing that is just so totally off canon that it blows my mind. I mean, who came up with that? I mean, was that part of Schneider's original script?
I don't know, man, but I gotta tell you, man, I like it because if you see him, the guy's drinking booze. Okay, he's drinking like the what is it, like fucking like 100-year-old Chardonnay or whatever the fuck it is, Marlowe, and he has like an escort in his bed. He's living outside. He doesn't live in Wayne Manor because he let that shit go. So he's living in his mother's lake house that his father built for her, and basically he's he's taking pain pills because the guy's just so fucked up from all of his tenure. Yeah, his tenure as I mean, he's basically kind of like given the fuck up. I mean, he hasn't given the mantle up per se, but the spirit of it, like where Dick, instead of like letting Dick go on as like Batman, as like the Bright Knight instead of the Dark Knight, he's just like fucking, I don't know, because we don't know what happened to Dick Grayson, or because we don't know if that was Dick Grayson, the Robin suit, or if that was Jason Todd or Tim Drake or fucking Damian. We don't know what this universe. But the thing is that I like that it was just, to me, I understand where you're coming from about the branding. Yeah, it does seem a little over the top, but for me, his mental, I mean, like what I've always loved about Batman is that Batman's like fucking, he's borderline fucking psycho. It's just.
Yeah, it is, but he's still pretty much always under control. Even when he comes back in Dark Knight Returns, he's still pretty much under control. Well, until,
Well, see, that's like, that's one of those things. That's like the Dark Knight Returns, right? Okay, like what I always hate when people talk about, like oh, he beat Batman beat Superman. No, he fucking didn't. He subdued his ass, and he made him think that he was having a heart attack, and basically, that's what he was trying to do. If Superman really wanted to, he would have fucking lasered his ass, and he would have roasted his ass like Kentucky Fried fucking chicken, extra fucking crispy. There would be nothing left of that motherfucker. What's that?
Superman in that story. Batman beat Superman in that story.
He beat him, but he didn't like we're not talking about like blow to blow. He outthought him.
And that's told him.
Yeah, that's why when at the end when they're at the funeral, he hears a heart beat. You see him like have like that smirk on his face, like that sly smile, and he's like, all right. Everybody thinks you're dead, so I'll let you be.
Yeah.
That's why I love that shit.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a great story.
Oh, it's fucking the best, man. That was Miller at his game, bro. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's when he was like, fuck Marvel, I'm going to DC and doing some cool shit.
Frank Miller just, my God, he was phenomenal. Year one.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing too, and he rewrote the fucking Batman mythos. I mean, pretty much. I mean, because basically the only thing that you knew from like Bob Kane and Bill Finger was that a fucking bat came in, his parents died in an alley, but you never knew if it was fucking Joe Chill, if it was fucking Jack Napier.
No, you knew it was Joe Chill. That Jack Napier was made up just for the film, man.
But I mean, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, actually, technically, man, in alternate reality now, there is a Jack Napier. Because they did Batman White Knight. So yeah. And so yeah, they actually count. Yeah, I know. It's yeah.
In the original continuity.
Yeah. Well, okay, so back in the but was Joe Chill made by Frank Miller, or was it? Because see, that's where I get confused, because I don't know if Joe Chill was made by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, or if it was made by Frank.
No, I think Joe Chill was I'm wanting to, and I.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So it's like.
But I think it was Denny O'Neil.
Was it Denny O'Neil? Really?
During O'Neil Adams years, when they were trying to, he's trying to uncover his parents, and finally found out.
And that's, I'm glad you brought that up too, man, because everyone forgets about that shit, man, about the Denny O'Neil Adams, man. It's like, I so wondrously forgot myself right here, right now. That's why we're live and inspired. I mean, I'm not saying it's forgettable. It's just that everyone kind of surpassed, because like that's when
no one overlooks it. I mean, because
exactly, overlooks. Thank you.
Look how many years it's been since it happened, and people unfortunately forget that the Silver and the Bronze Age storylines are some of the best storylines out there.
Yeah.
And you got all these books coming out now that they just don't hold a candle. And I know I sound like a grumpy old man who, prefers his rock and roll over everybody else.
Oh, you're such a curmudgeon, Chris. My God.
The stories and the artwork were top notch, man. Even on into, some of the 90s stuff. And even late 90s, early 2000s, some of the stuff was really, really good. But now it's hit or miss, man. It's hit or miss.
Well, see, that's like the early 2000s, man. That's like I love Brian Michael Bendis' Daredevil. Like his run on Daredevil was fucking phenomenal. Like after, and this is like what was it, Marvel Knights?
Kevin Smith run.
The Guardian Devil. That was fucking great with the baby Karen Page. Like I fucking hate what they did to what he did to Karen Page. Like made her die. But he even said on record, he's like, listen, look, man. I gave her a fucking, great send-off. Remember what fucking Frank Miller did? Made her a druggie, made her a prostitute, made her have fucking AIDS, made her sell out Matt Murdock's fucking secret identity for a hit of hair, for a hit of H. It's like, got her into fucking prostitution out in fucking Cali. Come on. It's like, he did her a fucking favor.
Wouldn't you rather just be dead instead of being a prostitute with AIDS that's
Matt
Murdock?
Like, exactly. It's like, holy fuck. I mean, he gave her like a mercy fucking kill. It's like, I mean, it sucks that it was fucking Bullseye because, here we go. Two fucking broads that,
It's all cyclic, books are cyclic. It'll come back again. I mean, where there's a majority of good books as opposed to bad books. But just right now, they're at another point like they were in the early 90s where a lot of the stuff that came out was just not that good. And I think we're at that point again. And it's just going to always kind of cycle like that.
Yeah.
And you ran into that into that situation, especially with DC, because they've been the longest running continuous comic company. In the 50s and some of the 60s, their stuff was horrible, man. Just awful, and they brought it back, and it's just a cycle. It's a vicious cycle that the comic industry, I think, goes through. And I think, some of that old time storytelling will come back, and I'll jump back in. But right now, I'm not really buying a whole lot. I know I'll get the Legion when it comes out, and I'll get JSA when it comes out, and that's just, for me, that's just fan loyalty. I don't know if the stories will be good. I hope they are.
Are you talking about Legion of Superheroes?
I'll stick with them because I don't have an alternative. I don't have another League book or Legion of Superheroes book I can jump on. Yeah. It's whatever comes out, I'll be reading.
Yeah. Like when you said Legion, man, I was kind of thinking, I was like, oh shit, you talking about Professor X's son, man?
What's that?
When you just said Legion, I was like, okay, are you talking about Professor X's son? Because they're actually bringing him back.
No. Legion
but
Heroes, man.
yeah, Legion, Saturn Girl and Superman. It was like Superman and Legion Superheroes, and then it was like Supergirl and shit.
Those were X-Men and Legion were two of the first books I ever read.
Really?
When I was a kid, and I just ate them up, which is one reason why I like team books. I'm not. I mean, I'll get the occasional single hero book, but team books are where it's at, man. You get all these superheroes for the same price that you get, one hero in another book.
Yeah.
And it's just so.
Well, see, I like it. I like the team books too. Like when they actually focus on like a certain character, right? They'll do like a story arc that just that makes this person the focal point. Kind of like if, like, let's say like Nightcrawler, for instance, right? The Uncanny X-Men. Yeah. If there's something back in his past and he goes like to a church and like a cathedral in Germany, right? An old part of Germany. And he's like, or where he grew up in. Right. Or it has to relate to his time as like a circus performer or whatever, or when he was a swashbuckler, even. Like I would love and then they just kind of focus like 3 or 4 issues on that. I think that's pretty fucking dope because it's like, okay. And then it's like, okay, then you go back and you do like the team shit. And then like 10 issues later, you focus on another person, of the team. I like that.
Claremont did that a lot. He would focus on one hero occasionally throughout a storyline. You'd see all the other heroes, but it would focus on one of the members of the X-Men throughout a comic, and you'd see what they were going through. And his subplots were second to none. They were amazing. Reading his work on Iron Fist, which I've been doing, which kind of coincides. The Iron Fist run ended early in his X-Men run. I mean, he was still doing Iron Fist when he was doing X-Men. When it was a few issues into the X-Men when he jumped off of Iron Fist and they canceled the series. Or actually, I think they changed it to Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah. Another
creative team took over.
Was he? And I love, man, like Power Man and Iron Fist, man. I have a lot of those old comics, man, like from that one.
Heroes for Hire, man. Power Man and Iron Fist, they were the best.
Oh yeah, oh dude, I love them. I love their team up. Like the new book, man. Like, cause they did a newer one not too long ago for like Marvel, fucking whatever you want to call it. It was after Secret Wars, so I think it was like 2016. They did another Power Man and Iron Fist. I wasn't too keen on the art, but I did like the comic book because you had what was it? Power Man. He was kind of more as a straight guy, and Iron Fist was more of the jokey type, and I kind of like that. But then, so that was pretty cool. I want to say David F. Walker was the one who wrote the book. I could be wrong. I have the graphic novels, and because I mean it was like during the time of Civil War II, Electric Boogaloo, and all that shit.
That's pretty wild. Sorry.
Oh no, you're totally good, dude. But yeah, like, dude, I love. Well, hell, man, I love that one fucking book where it was like Power Man, like what was it? Dr. Doom like owed him like $200, and he goes all the way to Latveria to get the fucking money. He starts breaking his fucking home, his fucking castle, and she's like, "Give me my money, bitch! I'm Power Man." It's like it's so. I mean, that was just so funny.
I love the old house ad. I don't know if you remember the old house ad. They had a couple of them. They had the one with Iron Fist where he was like, hey, and then they had the Power Man one where he's pointing at you and he's like, the fist would tell you nice, but I'm telling you to pick up Power Man and Iron Fist.
That's dope,
it was great stuff,
Yeah.
And it definitely had its draw. I mean, it had a huge fan base, and it was a shame that it got canceled. Well, but it just wasn't pulling the numbers, I guess.
Well, see, that's the thing is that basically both, and this is the problem, that both Power Man and Iron Fist, the reason why they teamed up is because the books were, both of them in the beginning, as always, books, they do great, but then they slide off. So those books were getting canceled. So what they did was they just said, okay, well, we want to keep these characters around, and because they already had like Shang-Chi already, Master Kung Fu. So they were like, let's team these two up and see how their book does. And yeah, I mean, I know it ran over 100 issues. I think it ran over like 150 issues. The original Power Man Iron Fist. Because I had like 150, I think. It was like a double size.
They couldn't really stand on their own much longer because both Power Man and Iron Fist were products of of a 70s fad.
Yeah.
Power Man was a product of the whole blaxploitation movie craze.
Yeah, like Shaft,
like
Dynamite,
Dolomite,
thank you.
And Blackula and Blackenstein and stuff like that. And then Iron Fist was, of course, a product of the whole Kung Fu movement, and that was around the same time in the 70s. And so they pulled they made those characters because Marvel has always done this. Whatever's popular in other media, they'll make a character to reflect that.
Oh yeah.
That's why they went from superheroes in the 40s to westerns to horror to romance comics, and then back to superheroes. And they went back to superheroes because the Justice League had just relaunched and was doing so well. I think Martin Goodman was like, we need to do superheroes now. I just had lunch with, whoever it was over at DC that they had lunch with. He told me the Justice League is doing well. Stan, I need you to do me a superhero book. And that's when he did the Fantastic Four.
Really?
And that's when the superhero craze took off again for Marvel Comics.
Well, that's pretty cool. So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I know a little bit, not much. I'm a little weak on details, but I remember some.
No, that's totally cool. No, man, thank you, man. No, that's yeah, because like when see, I know a little bit of like how like Stan Lee was kind of like a creator, the president, and it was like him and maybe two other dudes, and they were like up above him, and he was like an intern, and he was doing all this stuff, trying to keep everything afloat. So it's just kind of, I mean, I remember that time. Like, and I think that's when he was like working for Atlas Comics, because Atlas was Marvel before, right?
Yeah. Marvel was going to close its doors. They were gonna go out of business until Fantastic Four hit, and then it just went crazy, you know. So there are a lot of people out there who give Stan Lee a lot of shit. Saying that he didn't do this or he didn't do that. He was definitely a creator. He was definitely a writer.
Yeah.
I know he was definitely a co-creator, and he's never, ever not given Ditko or Kirby their due. He always mentions them in conversation, and he always talks about how he co-created with them.
Yeah.
But he was definitely a writer. I mean, and a huckster. I mean, he could sell his ass off. I mean, he had. People were buying his books just because of his personality alone.
Well, yeah. I mean, the dude was the Steve Jobs of fucking comics. I mean, he was the guy. Like Kirby was the Wozniak, and fucking.
Well, he was a carnival worker, man. He's like, step right up, pay your 2 bits, check out the freak show.
Oh yeah.
He was that guy, and I really get a little discouraged when people talk smack about Stan Lee. I'm like, you can say what you want, but he did a lot.
I think, okay, in people's defenses, and this is where I have problems too, because I don't like it when a person kind of just gives a very nonchalant and I know he's been saying this for years, so it's not just like when he was like older. He's always been saying, well, Jack and I, we didn't know who started, where one finished, and where one began and the other. It's like I think people have problems with it is because he's saying that, well, even if Jack did create it, it's still under Marvel. And it's like, okay, yeah, but he still needs to be paid.
Well, absolutely,
he still needs to get the fucking. I mean, it's like what happened to Joel what is it? The Schuster and Siegel, right? What happened to them? I mean, they didn't get fucking royalties until Superman, the movie Superman. Like one of them was homeless, honestly, for fuck's sake, and it wasn't. Honestly, like Christopher Reeve was a big part of that.
They were paid to play, man. They were being paid to create a comic strip. Mm-hmm. or a comic book, and to do the art and write the stories.
Yeah.
I think it's horrible what happened to them, and I think they definitely should have gotten royalties. And unfortunately, at that time, that's just not the way things were done, man.
Yeah.
And the same with Jack. Now, Jack eventually got a lot of his art back and everything, but he was paid to do a service, and he did that service. I pay artists to draw my characters.
Yeah.
Do they deserve a piece of the books that I sell? No, because I paid them to create to draw that picture that I told them how to draw. It all came out of my head. But since it was a collaboration between Kirby, Ditko, and Lee.
No.
Ditko and Kirby absolutely came up with a lot of those ideas on their own.
Yeah.
So they should have gotten some sort of royalty, but at that time it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until many years later that it started to.
Well, see, that's the thing too.
Bad for the Schuster family and the Siegel family.
Yeah. Well, that's like you hear about the Marvel method, and see, the problem is that you have the Marvel method and then you have like a DC method. And from what I understand, they're two totally different fucking spectrums. It's like you have the Marvel method where it's like, okay, here's the plot. Here's what I could see a person like Stan Lee say, okay, Jack, here's the plot, here's the story, blah, 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 blah. Just having like the little, and then Jack coming up with the artistry and stuff like that. And basically saying like, Yeah,
very
it's like,
careful
okay,
about the artist.
here's what's going on, Stan, blah blah blah. And even people have said before, like Stan Lee has actually taken like little what is it, sayings and phrases that Kirby has said, and either fucking paraphrased it and used it in a word bubble or a thought bubble, or he's actually taken the damn thing because the book had to get out. And it's just kind of like one of those things, but that's where it's like once again, it's like where
And
does one
DC
begin
does
and
it.
the other end? It's just who
Yeah,
fucking
and
knows.
DC scripts a little more like I do. When I
Yeah.
script, I write out each panel, you know, the viewpoint I want the reader to see, everything I want to see in the panel, and then I go to the next panel. So I'm telling the story and I'm telling the artist how I want to see it. You know, now
Okay.
there are certain things that I'll be like, draw some guys here. I don't care how you draw them. They're
Okay.
just a crowd scene.
Yeah.
Or, this and that. But for the principal shots, there's a certain way that I want to see it. I don't think that I could work the Marvel method because it would drive me nuts. There's a certain way that I want to see my stories presented.
Yeah.
And the way that Marvel does it is they're like, well, here's where I want the story to start. Here's where I want the story to end. Here's what I want to happen in the middle. You come up with everything when it comes to art. Well,
let me ask you. Okay, so since you brought up like your own artist, right? So and please don't think I'm trying to be combative or anything. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand like where. Okay, so how detailed do you get like for a character? Like when you're saying that, okay, I tell an artist, okay, they need to draw this person the way it is. But I mean, do you say like, okay, this person has black hair, they don't have blonde hair, they have black hair, they have a black beard.
We're talking apples and oranges though, because
Okay.
I'm talking about art that I use in my novels. I've already written a novel. You've read my novels, and you know how detailed my descriptions are.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Those are the descriptions that I give to artists. I want them to look exactly like the characters I describe in the novel.
Okay.
Don't veer from that, because that's how I see it in my head.
Okay.
Which is a lot different, and I see what you're saying. It's a lot different than what
Stan
that is
true.
did.
Yeah, because
Stan was like, here's a story, draw whatever you want, just get from point A to point B.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah. No, you're
a lot different.
Well, see, that's the thing too, but you're kind of converting that into a comic book, right? Like it's comic book format.
And that's where it's different too, because I've already written the story and I'm scripting it off of my story.
Okay.
And I want to see it a specific way.
Okay. Yeah, so you're more hands-on. Really okay. Yeah. I got you. I'm tracking.
Yeah. But and Aaron, my God, the artist Aaron Mead that I'm working with for the comic.
Yeah, he's good.
He's phenomenal. And like that Gore tomb.
Dude, that was killer, bro. That's like some creature from the Black Lagoon shit, man, like Godzilla, man.
Have 4 legs and a tail, and I wanted it to look reptilian, and he just put it together, and it's phenomenal. That is all him. Yeah. He is a fantastic artist.
Yeah, I mean,
he is really.
I don't mean to say this, man, and I hope you do not take offense, bro. But I was like thinking the old arcade like Rampage and shit. I'm like, oh shit, this is the secret character. I'm like, yeah, I guess.
I kind of wanted Gore tomb to harken back to the old Kirby Lee books. They used to do like Where Monsters Dwell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They used to do the giant monster books back in the the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Or on into the 60s. And I kind of wanted that. They had really weird names like Droom and Groot. That's where I Gore tomb. I was like, I wanted something that harkened back to that to start my book out. So
yeah,
that was cool. And to see it come to life in comic form from the novel, I mean, it was everything that I imagined when I drew it. So I can't wait to see more of his art. I mean, he's just phenomenal, and he's taken what I've sent him and he's going the extra mile with it, which I really, really appreciated. He's phenomenal, and he and I are working as equal partners on this comic, which is which is really refreshing and a lot of fun.
Really? Why is it? Why do you say refreshing? Why do you say that?
It's just, you know, I've seen a lot of collaborations where it's you know, heavily one sided or heavily the other, and you know, and the artist and the writer really aren't getting much of what they're putting into the book because it's owned by a comic company. This is a creator-owned book that Advent Comics happens to be putting out.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, you know, Advent gets their draw, and everything else is evenly distributed between Aaron and I or Aaron and myself, because he works so much. He's doing all the art. He's doing the lettering, and he's doing the inking, and I'm doing the scripting and the coloring. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun working with him, you know, and collaborating with him, and you know, when he did that splash page and I first saw it, it knocked my socks off, and I was happier than I'd ever been. I was happier seeing that splash page than when the first novel came out.
Really?
And, you know, I was like, oh my God, it's coming to life.
I gotta tell you, man, like, what is it? Jason Metcalf? He does the art for the, man, he's fucking good, man. Like, for the first one,
that's so amazing.
Yeah.
He is such an amazing artist. And a nice
very
guy
detailed,
you won't
man.
ever meet. He's just a soul of the earth kind of guy, and his art is, I mean, as far as current artists go, I rank him up there, especially among independent artists, is probably the #1 independent artist that's out there right now.
Really?
He's a baller, man. He's incredible. I really wish that he and I were working more on other stuff together. I would love to do a comic with him at one point. I think he's mostly doing covers and stuff, but my God, he's just phenomenal. And he's become a good friend. I really like him, and we chat every once in a while and see how each other's doing, and you know, we check on each other's family, and he's just a heck of a guy, and I'm glad I got to know him through this whole process. So
now since we're talking about the comic book, when the comic book is finally finished and done, how many?
In 3 years.
You think it's going to take that long? 3 years?
No, man. I don't think it'll take that long. No.
Like how? Oh yeah. Oh, you're just joshing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm
giving Aaron a little elbow on the air.
Ah, there you go. They how is it going to be, like a graphic novel, or is it going to come out like separate issues, like it'll 1 of 7?
It'll be a 4-issue mini.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've managed to break the script down into a 4-issue mini. I know there's a Secret Origins chapter in the book that I'm extracting from the book, from the storyline, and I'm going to tack that on at the end. It'll be a 5th issue, and it'll be like an old school DC Origins book.
Oh, really? Sweet.
There'll be a 4-issue mini with a Secret Origins follow-up. So
that's cool, man. Hell yeah. Yeah.
It'll spark enough interest to do the second novel in comic form.
See, I always loved the Secret Origins, man, especially like I know Ethan Van Sciver, man, did one of the Secret Origin ones, because I got it at RobCon for like $1, and I want to say it's like
an amazing.
Yeah, man. Like Ethan Van Sciver, man. Yeah, he's a phenomenal artist. I mean, that's like my brother was the one who got me. Like, I've always known his artistry, but I never knew who he really was until my brother Larry got me into Green Lantern Rebirth, because I knew him from Flash, and Flash actually came out after Green Lantern, but I was just like I was just kind of getting back into comic books, like after I got out of the military. So I was just like, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks cool. And then I'm like, Ethan Van Sciver, that's a familiar name. And then I looked at flipping through, like, oh shit, he did the Flash Rebirth. And then years later I find out, yeah, you know, that actually came out, the Green Lantern Rebirth came out first, and this was like the second one that he did. And because I know, like he said, because he's gone on record saying that him and Jeff Johns had more leniency with the Green Lantern mythos and stuff like that, and how things were going to be drawn and stuff like that. where
Cool.
EVS had more creative influence. But then they said that with Flash was kind of a bit of a nightmare a little bit because there was so much. Because they're like, okay, hey, great job, guys. You know, DC's pat them on the back and shit, and then they want to do more creative control because they're like, okay, we can't fuck this one up, boys. You know, it's like put this in, put that in. You know, yeah. I mean, that's what he was kind of saying is like it was just kind of. I don't want to say that he said it was a nightmare, but he said that it was just like he could feel the pressure. You know, it's like where the Green Lantern Rebirth, there was no pressure. It was just like Jeff Johns had a script.
That's cool.
You know, we worked together. You know, on a few things, and you know, like
I do want to just clarify that I wasn't being disparaging of artists and their craft, and not saying that they're not worth what they get paid. What I was saying that with what I'm doing, you know, the artists are doing exactly what I tell them to do, and I'm paying them for those specific works of art.
Yeah,
to put into a book.
Well, see, that's why I was just trying to clarify because, dude, I know that things get lost in context. So,
yeah, they've been paid. You know, they don't get any more money. From my
because
like I paid them for the art and I own it.
Yeah.
Whereas with comic books, I can understand because it's a collaboration between artist and writer. A lot of times, they absolutely. But then again, neither writer nor artist. That work specifically for a comic company get much of anything as far as, you know, residuals or extra money.
Yeah, residuals.
From books.
Well, see, that's and nowadays it's kind of like what we were talking about, like with Image, right? Like nobody gets fucking Image contracts anymore because the thing, like with Image, with like what was it? Well, even before Image. Like when what was Todd McFarlane when he was doing Spider-Man when he did like the spaghetti webbing and stuff like that and drew Spider-Man with the big eyes and stuff, he was getting like fucking bank, you know, like him, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld when he did fucking X-Force and shit, and he did New Mutants and all that jazz. I mean, those guys were like making fucking bank, and they were like, well, fuck. I mean, because basically they were getting incentive to stay with Marvel, you know, for. You know, and that's like, even Eric Larson did I think he I know he did fucking Amazing Spider-Man because he did he did the Venom one where Eddie Brock, the one I was telling you about, like where Eddie Brock takes Eddie Brock Venom takes what's his name, Peter Parker, to like the island and stuff, and basically Peter Parker fakes his death, and then Venom thinks that he is actually Mark Bagley was actually a guest artist. I think that was like one of his first that he did for Marvel on like 345. He was a guest artist for that. Eric Larson did the cover, but the interior art was by Mark Bagley, and he was the original one who drew Cletus Cassidy when he was locked up in the prison with Eddie Brock and stuff like that. And he was about to shiv him. But then the symbiote costume comes back. Eddie breaks him out.
Those guys you mentioned, they were the superstars at Marvel Comics at the time.
Yeah,
and you know they were probably making big bank just to keep them on board.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why Jim Lee. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's why Jim Lee got to, because they asked him, they're like, hey, what book would you like to do? And he's like, well, I love the X-Men, you know, and if Chris Claremont's down for it, and they're like, okay, sold, boom, there you go, you know.
Yeah, and he did a great job on the X-Men too. I liked his work on the X-Men.
Yeah, was he
absolutely?
Was he the one? Was that when Chris Claremont made? Did he and Chris Claremont make Psylocke, or was Psylocke already a character when Jim Lee and Chris Claremont?
Psylocke was Betsy Braddock. She became Psylocke. Dude, I would have to look. My goodness, it's been so long.
Because I know that she switched bodies or something, like Betsy Braddock.
Yeah.
Braddock. She switched bodies.
She started in Captain Britain. In the Marvel UK.
Yeah.
And I am not sure when she became Psylocke. I know that Betsy had made some appearances in the New Mutants. And And I really can't tell you when she became Psylocke at this point. It's been so long since I read it. I'd have to go back and look it over.
Well, see, I know that what his name? Fucking Jim Lee gave Sabretooth that new. I love Sabretooth's like outfit, man. And like the 90s, like where he still had kind of like the fur, but he had like the tan and what was it? Tan and brown suit. Where like in the 80s he had like the fur around and he had like the fur cuffs and he just looked he had like the orange jumpsuit shit. Like I hated that, but then Jim Lee made him look more like fucking Gambit a little bit more.
You know what was great about reading this Iron Fist run is Sabretooth appears in Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, that's his first appearance.
And in the last issue of Iron Fist, Iron Fist goes up against the X-Men, and he sees Wolverine for the first time, and he mentally makes the connection and asks himself if this Sabretooth guy and this Wolverine guy are somehow related. And I think that was the first time that question was ever thrown out there. And Claremont wrote the X-Men and Iron Fist, so he was obviously moving towards some sort of relation between the two characters from the very beginning.
Well, yeah, that's what he was like saying too. I believe it was Chris Claremont, where he was like, yeah, like somehow, some way they were supposed to be related. If not father and son, they were supposed to be brothers. And that's what like I don't care what people say about Wolverine Origins. I actually fucking like it, and not like it as like a guilty pleasure. Like it. I fucking like it. The only thing I do not like is how they fucked up Deadpool. I don't like that shit. I hate the fucking ending.
Oh, I thought you meant. I'm sorry. Let me back up a little. I hated the movie. I thought you meant the comic book.
Which one? Wait. You hated the movie.
I hated the movie. The comic book was amazing.
You did not like the movie? Oh man. See, dude, I love Leo Shriver, man.
It was so bad. Everything was out of continuity.
Really?
The Blob was an idiot. I mean, it was just so bad. He calls the Blob Bub, and he's like, "Did you call me Blob? Does Blob sound like Bub?" It was one of the most horribly written films I'd ever seen. Now, I did like the opening sequence. That was really cool, where they're going through history in different ways.
Oh, dude, that's so fucking cool, man. Yeah,
that was really neat. And there were certain parts of the movie that were pretty cool. But, I mean, on the whole, it was like Preparation H. It just burned. It was just horrible. It was one of the worst things I'd ever seen.
Really? You did? Man.
And then Deadpool. I loved how they cleaned up the timeline in Deadpool 2. Did you see that?
No. See, I haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet. But, I know it already. Because I know that he goes back in time and
yeah, it's in the after credits scene.
Oh, really?
He goes back in time, and Wolverine's standing there, and when he faced Deadpool in Wolverine Origins, and they're talking, and Deadpool's standing there, and then Deadpool from the Deadpool movie shoots him in the head.
Oh, does he really? The Deadpool from the?
And then when he falls, Wolverine's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Don't worry about me. I'm just here to clean up the timeline." And then he just keeps shooting him.
So wait, so they got what's his name to come back and play Wolverine? Hugh Jackman.
I don't know if it looked like it was from the film, so it looked like they just cleverly inserted him into it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So because it didn't look like Hugh Jackman was at the age he is now. I mean, it could have been. They could have, used their freaky deaky special effects powers and made him younger again. But it was great. And then there's another scene in there where he shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head.
Oh, really?
When he's reading the Green Lantern script.
Oh, no shit.
Spoiler.
Oh, it's so cool, man. Oh, so Deadpool goes back and shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head before he becomes the Green Lantern. Oh, that's pretty cool,
I
man.
like Green Lantern. I like Green
Lantern. I did too, man.
Crap, I enjoyed it.
Hey, man, dude.
Its problem was it followed Dark Knight.
Yeah, and also too, he didn't have a real suit. That's another thing too. I fucking hated the CG.
I thought it looked cool. I didn't have a problem with it, but it followed just such a phenomenal superhero film, like The Dark Knight, and Heath Ledger just eating up the scenery.
Yeah.
And then they come out with something that is just a standard superhero film that doesn't have the power and the pop that Dark Knight had, and it just fell on its face. So I think it gets some really bad press. But I didn't like what they did with Parallax. I thought it was kind of silly.
Okay, yeah, the big poo cloud, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
I hate. See, this is one part that I love.
Everybody
fucking. What's up?
I'm running out of juice on my phone. If you lose me, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're totally good, man. No, you're good. Boy, do you wanna plug it in, or do you have a place where you can plug in?
Will you grab the plug, please? Where is it? It was hooked up to the charger. Out there? Yeah. Where'd you put the charger? Did you leave it out there? Okay. My wife's hooking me up.
Oh, okay, there we go.
She's the best. That's why you've been seeing just the...
Thank you, Mrs. Schwartzlander. You're the best.
She is the best, man. She's Wonder Woman, man. She yanked that mower off me, that 400-pound mower off me like it weighed nothing.
I know, man. Hey, man, I've seen her spin around the room a couple times, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Linda Carter, man, back in the day. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I know what's up.
Spins and you hear Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's a pretty good show, man.
Bring my laptop. Oh, okay. She's hooking me up.
Oh yeah,
Sorry
man.
to interrupt the show.
No, dude. No, fuck, man. It's totally cool, bro. It's like, we can pause for a commercial break. It's fine, Like, have you ever heard of stevia?
Brought to you by Marlboro. 9 out of 10 doctors smoke Marlboro.
Pretty much. It's like the other
Back
one
in the 50s,
smokes Lucky Strike.
Back in the 50s, man, the doctors would be in the hospital smoking cigarettes while they're performing operation. No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, shit. It's like fucking MASH then. Shit.
That show was the best.
Yeah. Well, see, that's one where, okay, the movie came out first, correct? And then the TV show, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, because the movie had Donald Sutherland. Who the fuck else did it have?
And Elliot Gould and
Elliot Gould, yeah.
The lady that played shoot. What's the guy that played the consigliere on the Godfather?
Oh, Robert Duvall.
Yeah, he was in it.
He's played Tom Hagen. Yeah,
that's right. I think the only original character from the movie that made it to the TV series was Radar.
Really?
I mean, all the characters were the same. They just were played by different people. But Radar actually made it from the movie to the TV.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because I love how they said in like Korea and everyone thought it was like Vietnam. It's like, that was pretty cool. It's like, yeah.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
The movie I watched about a week ago. I hadn't seen it in years, and it's still a pretty funny movie.
Hey, let me tell you. Okay, since we're kind of getting on the movie kick, all right. So the 10 out of 10 movies that you saw, I know that you've seen. Okay, which one do you like better, Smokey and the Bandit or the original Cannonball? And I'm talking about the original Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit Part 2 is really good, but original Smokey and the Bandit or Cannonball Run?
Smokey and the Bandit.
Really?
Smokey and the Bandit. I was watching it before I got on here with you.
Oh, fuck, man. See?
I watch it every chance I get. I found out today that we had an account for Amazon Prime, and I looked on it, and it had Smokey and the Bandit, and I was watching it before I got on here with you.
See, I love Cannonball Run, man. Especially with what was it? Dean Martin and I got you, babe. Fuck his name, Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah, where they're the priests and they got a Lambo or a Ferrari. I can't remember what the fuck they had the sports car.
Yeah, and then they had Jackie Chan was in it.
Yeah, and Dom DeLuise was in it too.
Yeah, he was Captain Chaos, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so good, man.
No, I love it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I think it's a fantastic film. But Smokey and the Bandit, to me, it's just, I saw it in the drive-in with my dad when I was a kid, so it kind of holds a lot of good memories for me.
Oh, okay, so it's more nostalgia.
Yeah, I just love the film. And I love the music. I love Jerry Reed's music.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenal. And it's just a good movie. You know, Sally Field's good in it. And Jackie Gleason, my God, he's classic.
Oh yeah.
You know, all those lines were ad lib. They didn't really have a script for him.
Really? No shit.
I was watching a special on it last night. They would tell him what they wanted to do and where they wanted the scene to go, and he would just most of the words in that movie that he said were his.
Really?
So,
well, see, that's
he was
like
a comedic genius.
Well,
that guy'd been around since the early days of television, since it first got sound.
Honeymooners, right? Like he was on the Honeymooners.
Even before that, he had the Jackie Gleason show, which was kind of a sketch comedy show.
Was it really?
Like a live sketch comedy. Yeah, it was very good.
Like the Dick Van Dyke Show, or was it more just kind of?
No, it was just like sketch comedy. He did like little like SNL the early days.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, shit. What the hell was that show that they used to do that too?
I think that was on before the Honeymooners.
Shit.
Hey, looky there, our cable's out.
Is there?
I love DirecTV. If anyone from DirecTV is listening, you suck.
I know, man. It's like, well,
not you personally, but the company you work for.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, and that's a hard one too, man, because I love Smokey and the Bandit, and I love Cannonball. Man, I think I'll have to go with Cannonball because we were talking about just because of the overall like casting, right? Because it's like you not just get because you have all these like what we were talking about like with the Justice League and talking about like with the Avengers, like like you get all and the X-Men, you get all this ensemble, right? For like the price of fucking one ticket, But no, I can understand like with nostalgia, that's like me and Star Wars. Like, yeah, I grew up around it. My brothers, are a lot older than me. Yeah. And so like they're more into it where I was just like, okay, cool, right. I knew lightsabers and stuff and like what we talked about like before, but it's just one of those things like it's not like enriched, like deep in me. I have like a fucking like you're not gonna see me doing somersaults in the fucking supermarket, being fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. It ain't no fucking way.
Well, Star Wars to me is it holds a special place in my heart too because I saw it when it was just Star Wars.
Yeah, before it was A New Hope. Yeah. And you
was no such thing as A New Hope or Empire or or even the Ewok Christmas special. It was just Star Wars, and when I saw it in the theater, it melted my face off. I was just like, this is the most incredible thing ever.
And let us not forget the two sequels, Caravan of Courage. You remember that? The Caravan of Courage? What was it? The Ewoks and shit? You don't remember that?
No.
Oh my god.
No.
There's like they did like two specials. They had like a little was it blonde haired girl? And I believe it was called like the Ewok Caravan of Courage or some shit. I can't remember. But they did two Ewok movies. Yeah, they did the holiday special
right on the
with the Chewbacca special. Itchy fucking yum what's his wife's name? Itchy was his father or his grandfather.
Scratchy.
Yeah. It wasn't Nala. Shit, I can't remember. That was when B. Arthur, she was the fucking cantina lady, and
my god,
that was fucking weird as shit.
What year was that?
Oh fuck, that was like 80. That was before Empire. That was when Mark Hamill just got into his motorcycle accident because they fucking put the damn Maybelline truck on his ass. Full of makeup and shit, and that's when Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, was all like fucking like I think that was like when their coke days were happening and stuff because people said that she was strung out, like on set.
I was really I had heard about the accident, of course.
Yeah, because it was a motorcycle accident.
I think I'd read it like a People magazine or something back in the day, and it kind of
Yeah, I want to say it was like 80.
no.
Or no. It
Yeah.
had to be like 79. It had to be 79. Because Empire Strikes Back
Yeah.
came out in 80, didn't it? Yeah. They had the
I
film
think
in
so.
79. Yeah, so it was 78, 79, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Star Wars was 77, wasn't it?
Yeah, the original. Yeah, the original. Yeah, I was 77.
That was
So I had to be like 2
forever.
years, a year or two after.
That was in the theater. I remember that movie being in the theater for over a year.
Yeah.
You know, in select theaters. And back then they would do that. If a movie was making bank, they would leave it in the theaters forever.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember.
You couldn't get it on home video. You know?
I remember, yeah, because VHS, one fucking VHS used to cost like $100. Like,
yeah, and back in the day, once it left the theater, it stopped making money.
Yeah.
You know, so they would keep a movie like that in the theaters for as long as they could, and they would milk that cow until it was done.
Well,
and
shit,
then
man.
They put another movie in.
I remember seeing the original Ghostbusters when fucking Ghostbusters 2 came out, because they kept that because they would keep it in the fucking dollar movie because it was so fucking good. Because then they did I remember when they would do like what was it, like the 2-for-1, like what do they call it, the matinee or the premiere. Fuck. But you could see 2 movies for like one. I remember we saw LA Confidential before it came out, and that was like back in '94. And then we saw Rudy, because it was like a 2-for-1, and I think because I remember watching
I still haven't seen that.
LA Confidential or Rudy?
No, Rudy.
Okay, I will say, man, like when I was a kid, I fell asleep in a movie theater through most of it. But I saw it. I think it's on Netflix right now. If you have Netflix, it's really good. I do like it. It's very inspirational. It's very powerful.
I heard it was really good, and I heard nothing but good things about it. I've just never seen it.
Yeah, Sean Astin, man, he plays a hell of a job in it. He does a hell of a job.
He's an amazing actor and a really nice guy. I met him at a con, and
really?
he just was, willing to talk to me for a while, and was just very nice and very accepting, and just I had my wife's a big Goonies fan.
Yeah.
So he signed a Goonies picture for her, and he was just a really, really cool dude.
Well, see, I thought it was fucking amazing. Go ahead, man.
Can I ask you, what movie was so bad that you got up and walked out of it?
The Crying Game.
Really?
It was at the end. No, I'm fucking with you, man. Okay, so a movie that I want.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a movie so bad that you just got up and walked out?
Okay, okay, no, but I did walk out of a movie theater, but it wasn't because of that. And well, okay, I won't get into that. I will say that I don't like walking out of movie theaters because I paid money for it. So maybe it's just like, okay.
I felt the same way until I went and saw The Spirit.
See, I didn't see The Spirit in the movie theater. Now,
15 minutes into that film, I got up and walked out. It was so bad. It was such an insult to the legacy of Will Eisner. And I've tried to watch it since, like on DVD and on television, and I can't get through it. It is a horrendous train wreck of a movie.
Really?
I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's
I've
awful.
seen. Okay, I've seen a little bit of it, and like I tried watching it, and brother, I could. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even get past the first. I remember like the fucking Samuel Jackson being the octopus. The guy from Suits, I think, was the Spirit.
Yeah.
Not Matthew Bomber's character, but the other guy, the FBI dude. I can't remember his name.
Now, there was a movie recently, within the last few years, that I fell asleep in, and and it was the first Hobbit film.
Really?
They're beautifully done.
Oh
They're
my
gorgeous
God.
films.
The Unexpected Journey?
The fact that they took one book that was, what, maybe 300 pages long?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And they stretched it out over 3 movies. It was one of the most boring films I've ever seen. I fell asleep 10 minutes into it, and it came out on Christmas, and my wife got up and went and did all the Christmas shopping, and then came and woke me up at the end of the film, and we left. But you know, I've watched it since, and I'm able to watch it at home, and I enjoy the film.
Mm-hmm.
But that they stretched the story out so long, I don't think that it merited 3 films. They were just milking.
No, well, you know,
legacy.
You know what happened, right? Like with that shit. Like Guillermo del Toro was originally supposed to do it. It was supposed to be a duology. It was only supposed to be 2 films, and whatchamacallit, MGM got in MGM or Warner Brothers, I can't remember which one, but they got in bankruptcy, or they were going bankrupt, and they had to cut projects, right? And the thing is that it was the James Bond was got cut. Hobbit was put on fucking hiatus, and Guillermo del Toro, his name's pretty much attached to every fucking thing these days, or even back then, because of Pan's Labyrinth and all, you know, the Hellboys came out and stuff like that. So he was like, hey, listen, look, I have all these other projects and stuff, and he did Blade 2, and that was another one he did, Blade 2, the second Blade, Wesley Snipes, and so,
which was amazing.
I fucking hated it, man.
You hated Blade 2?
I didn't hate it. I just fucking, I strongly dislike it. I did not. Okay.
Blade Trinity was horrible.
I like Blade Trinity. I like Hannibal King, man. We're talking about Ryan Reynolds. That was fucking cool.
Worst Dracula I've ever seen. I mean, come on. Looked like a beach bum. He didn't look like an English noble, or a European nobleman. He looked like a guy that they picked up benching weights on a beach. I mean,
you know who that is, right?
No,
that's Dominic Purcell. He's the guy from Prison Break and Heat Wave.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
That's like one of his like first fucking roles, man. I mean, I was like, holy shit.
It was a bad role for him. He was badly cast in that movie. I didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
You know? Ryan Reynolds.
Okay,
Ryan Reynolds couldn't even save that film.
I love his Hannibal King, man. He was
he was great as Hannibal King. His character was fantastic, but the movie was a mess.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, one of the things too is that Wesley Snipes has gone on record saying that basically that you have this first-time director, and I mean, when they were on set, the production assistant would have to go to fucking Wesley Snipes' trailer and call him like Blade, and then he was like demanded he be called Blade or Mr. Blade or whatever the fuck. Yeah, not Wesley Snipes, Mr. Snipes. He was called Blade, and he would give the director like fucking sticky notes and pass them back from fucking Blade to the PA to the director. I mean,
so he was just difficult to work with.
Yeah, he was being a fucking asshole, and in his like, because he's gone on fucking record like ever since he's gotten fucking nixed for what was it, a tax, avoiding his taxes and shit, that he says, listen, look, man, the director was messing with my money. It's like, yeah, I mean, and because I love Wesley Snipes, man, like New Jack City, Nino Brown. Oh my God, man, that's such a good fucking movie.
I'll watch it. He's in. I'm so glad that he was in the last Expendables.
As Doc. Yeah, that was. Okay, like Expendables, I love the first 30 minutes, man, or even 45. Like I even like Mel Gibson in that, because that whole exchange that he has, like in the back of the van, calling the dude a meat suit and stuff like that. Like that was him. He actually asked Sylvester Stallone. He's like, "Hey, listen, look, can I take a look look at these lines or take a look at the script, rewrite it. And he's like, no, man, shit, go ahead, dude, it's your character. And he was in that whole exchange. Mel Gibson actually wrote. I fucking hated them. I really disliked the movie because I shouldn't say hate because hate's a strong word. I really dislike the movie because they tried to go with like a younger people. I mean, they weren't fucking the new old expendable. I mean, that was so fucking stupid.
The old guys had to come back and save the young guys.
Yeah, but I fucking hated it. It was just so dumb. It's like, okay, but no one knew. Okay, like Ronda Rousey, I mean, she ain't shit anymore. It's like she's just an MMA fighter. Okay, has nothing to do. She's never been fucking, and now she's doing WWF shit. So I don't want to say fake because they really get hurt, but it's choreographed because she can't make a name for herself in the MMA. Now I would get punched the fuck out of by her, and I would probably enjoy it. But you know what I'm saying. But
she'd whoop my ass.
Oh yeah, and I'd probably be smiling from ear to ear.
I would not fight that woman.
No, God, no. I mean, hey, break my fucking no. I'll be like, no, I defer to you, madame.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, it's like, sorry you got offended by. I'm just an asshole. I have to take my medicine. Preparation H.
Now, I like the first Expendables. I really like Mickey Rourke's character in that movie.
Yeah.
And I wish he'd have been in the other movies. I mean, that line that he gave about, when he saw that woman commit suicide and he and life was nothing but basically darkness for him now. That was powerful, and you believed him when he said it.
Yeah, because like when he's tattooing, because that's when whatchamacallit
went to trembling, and that was when he was painting the guitar after his girlfriend had left him.
Oh yeah.
Girlfriend that he just met.
Okay, yeah.
And he was painting the guitar, and he's like, "After I'm done painting it, I'm gonna smash the shit out of it."
Yeah. Well, I love the exchange that he did because when they come back from their first mission, Mickey Rourke is there, and he's like, "Hey, let's finish up that tattoo," and then basically he talks about like him getting out of it, like the reason why he doesn't go on missions anymore, and basically why he's because I believe his character's name was Tool, and he owns the shop and stuff like that. And and I love that exchange that where he was just talking about like that mission that we went on, and he's talking about all the blood and stuff and the civilians, and that was powerful, man. That was fucking.
That was when he was painting the guitar. When he was doing
was it when he was painting? Okay, I thought it was
when he was given. That was when he was giving Christmas shit.
Oh,
they told
okay.
him to put a big spider web on his head, maybe a little.
Web,
a little spider coming down behind his ear.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while, man. Because I thought. Okay, maybe I'm getting confused. Which one was the one where they have like the dart? Okay, because the end of the movie, it's like Christmas. Jason Statham's character goes all the fucking way out of the shop and throws the dart. Is that number 1 or number 2?
It wasn't. It was
because he was throwing the knife. He was throwing the knife at the dartboard. Yeah.
That was in number 1, and he did that at the end of 1. He went out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
And he turned around. He threw it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. The first one is phenomenal. The second one I didn't like. I thought that Chuck Norris.
Oh yeah,
kind of put a
Lone Wolf
on
McQuade.
I didn't like that whole thing. But I enjoyed the third one. It could have, I just like anything Stallone does. I like.
Yeah,
I just like Stallone.
Well, see, that's why I'm very intrigued, man, to see the new Creed 2. Have you seen the trailer for that yet?
Yeah.
I mean, because Sylvester Stallone is actually writing that movie. I think with the permission of Ryan Coogler I know Ryan Coogler is a producer on it. He's not directing it because he directed Black Panther, but he got a guy that he trusted to direct it. I don't know the gentleman's name, but it looks.
Well, why would Stallone need permission to write a character he owns?
Well, no. I didn't. No. The director.
Oh, okay.
The director
Stallone wrote Rock.
Yeah, but the thing was that so Ryan Coogler actually went to Stallone first, right, and wanted to put him in the movie, and then Stallone actually fucking rejected his ass at first because Ryan Coogler, basically, the reason why he actually made Creed was actually a nod to his father. I believe his father died, and when he was growing up, his him and his father would watch the Rocky movies together.
Oh, okay.
And then so he wanted to pay homage to like his father, but also to his childhood, his nostalgia, and he wanted to talk about about what if Apollo Creed had an illegitimate son that his wife raised,
I loved Creed.
Oh, brother, yeah, I got that on Blu-ray, man. Fucking, it's fucking phenomenal.
It's a great legacy movie.
Yeah,
for the Rocky series.
Yeah, and it's basically a passing. Oh, dude, that's like when whatchamacallit asked him about like I love how Rocky's like son, Rocky Jr. isn't there. He moves to fucking Canada with his girlfriend and stuff like that. Because that's like in what was it, Rocky Balboa? He kind of didn't want anything to do with his father, you know, in the beginning and shit.
Balboa was
yeah, you want to that was fucking.
That speech that he gave his kid.
Was
amazing.
Oh yeah, dude. I love how they even tie in like with the girl like who's like working at the bar. The lady working at the bar was the girl who like said "screw you, jerk off" or creepo. Yeah. I love how like they tie
in
that.
Spider Rico in it.
Yeah, that was the original actor too. Yeah, working in the kitchen.
They did. It was just a phenomenal send off.
Oh my god, dude!
I thought it was a great wrap up. I like all the Rocky movies. Rocky 5 was a little, dare I say, rocky.
Yeah.
It was kind of rough.
Yeah.
You know, they had Tommy Glassjaw Morrison on there.
As Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn. And it was okay. It just wasn't up to par to the other films. And I didn't like that they made him all punchy and he ended up back in the neighborhood and blah, blah, blah. But it actually worked out for Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
for the next movie.
See, I liked it because
he was back in the neighborhood.
Well, okay, so there are there are redeemable parts to me of Rocky 5.
Yeah.
Because I love how you see him after, especially in the beginning, how he's fucked up from the fight with Drago, like where it wasn't just. And he's like, basically, he has like I don't want to say Parkinson's, but he has like onset, basically, of what Muhammad Ali was kind of like, you know, kind of taken from that. You know, you have this great fighter. If he keeps on fighting, he's gonna fucking die. He's gonna end up like his friend Paulo.
That's happened to so many fighters. You hear these older fighters talk, and they're slow and they're slurred, and it's from getting hit in the head so many times. I mean.
Yeah,
and it's a shame to say, but
that's like even football players.
That same issue.
Yeah.
But what I liked most about the Rocky films was Adrian and Rocky's relationship. I thought it was just phenomenal, and the fact that, I mean, I was sad that she wasn't in Rocky Balboa, but I love the send off that he gave the character. You know, he still loved her, and he still went and talked to her. He went to her gravesite all the time and talked to her. I thought it was a beautiful testament to both of the characters, and it was great. It was a great send off.
Well, yeah, and I like how too, like when he's at the bar and he's telling the bartender, the lady, the grown up creepo lady, screw you creepo, that basically she died of lady cancer, and I was like, okay, did she die of breast cancer? But actually, she died of ovarian cancer. I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty fucking cool. I didn't know. What the fuck that there was actually ovarian cancer before I learned about that shit. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a great film.
Yeah.
I think I'll watch that tonight.
Well, yeah, man, dude, I remember seeing that, man. I was deployed, man, and I remember seeing that shit. And it's fucking weird because I was deployed in Iraq at the time, and we got like a really good fucking copy, a really good Haji copy of it, and or bootleg. But and it was phenomenal, man. It's
when they flew us to Iraq for Desert Storm 1 with the all original cast.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the first 5 Rocky films on the flight.
Really? No shit.
Which I thought was cool. But when we got there, the only movie we had was a beat up VHS version of Dirty Harry, and we watched that thing over and over and over again. And
man, the Scorpio, man,
The only book I had was the unabridged version of The Stand. I think I read that 6 or 7 times out there.
That's a good fucking book, man. The Stand's good.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
That's like,
I like the made-for-TV movie. I'd like to see it redone, but
well, you know,
made-for-TV movies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I have that shit on digits, man. Yeah, the fucking with Rob Lowe and fucking Gary Sinise and what was it, Molly Ringwald. Really fucking
Bill's Moon.
Yeah. M-O-O-N. You know, it's like
M-O-O-N spells park bench.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's like
All right, man. I think I'm gonna have to wrap it up for the night, man.
All right, brother.
I hate to do that to you, but
no, you're totally good.
I want to spend some Saturday time with my lady.
No, we're good, man. Oh yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock, man. So yeah.
Yeah, give her some smooches and stuff.
Oh no, you're good, brother.
She'd give me the eye.
Well, hey, man, all right, Ms. Schwartzlander, we are going to wrap this up. All right, everybody, for the 3 viewers what's up?
I love doing this, man.
I know.
If you want to have me back on, I'd love to be back on.
Heck yeah, man.
And it's a lot of fun. It gives me something to do during my recovery. And, what better way to spend a Saturday evening than to talk comics, movies, and, just bullshit.
Yeah. It's man. It's like, I'm going to be staying with my cousin, man. So I will try to do this again. Because I know that he has I think he has a spare computer. So
if you can't do it this coming Saturday, we'll do it the Saturday after.
Okay.
Or the Friday after, or whatever.
Yeah, I may even do it on my phone because I could put what's up.
I can't do it next Saturday because we've got company too. So.
Oh, okay.
You being gone is cool because.
Okay.
Because we've got company at the house the whole weekend. So.
Oh, okay. Then there we go. So we'll take. We won't even worry about it. We'll take next weekend off and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
The following weekend. You hear that, everybody? We're taking next weekend off. So don't worry. Don't be expecting.
Be here the weekend after, though.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, brother.
Absolutely. God bless you, brother. You have a good one.
All right, you too. All right, everyone.
I'll see you soon.
All right, man. See ya. Love to all.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. Love to all. Confiscate for life, and aloha.